I am in radio contact.
What kind of people are we?
I am in radio contact.
What kind of people are we?
Attention crew, this is your Captain Caliban speaking. This is a supplemental episode of Enterprising Individuals, where we bring you news and tidbits from the world of Trek, also interviews with special guests, and a few little surprises along the way. And ooh, man, it feels good to be back in the saddle and enterprising and individualing and whatnot. Thanks so much for joining me. And just a note, this is a bit of a supplemental to a supplemental. It's something new we're trying for this year. Normally, as indicated above, supplemental shows are a chance to catch up on some of the news from the Trek sphere and for me to bring you some of my thoughts about Trek stuff. We also talk with all kinds of guests, from scientists to authors and experts, sociologists and economists, going deeper into the themes present in the Trek episodes we cover in the show. We did that intermittently last year, but this year, nearly every supplemental show will be a deeper exploration of the episode that preceded it, and the plan is to have each one feature an extended interview with a special guest. Which is great, but where does that leave the news? You know, you listening to this right now, you know what a strange and exciting time it is right now to be a Star Trek fan. Literally every week we hear some new revelation about a new Trek show in development, or the announcement of a new guest star, or a writer or creator coming on board. And I know that most of us can easily get our news from social media or the websites that we frequent, but what if you could get it all of your Trek news in one place, with well-researched facts, all delivered in my soothing baritone? Well, that's what I'm offering. A short weekly standalone episode that brings a summary of the week's Trek news. Don't know if this will end up being an ongoing feature, but hey, you get an extra episode every week for free. I like reading the news. I have no idea why, but I think it's fun, and I like knowing stuff, and you probably do too. That's actually one of the pillars of another podcast of mine, the Just Enough Trope podcast. Our mandate for that show is to bring our listeners all the news that's fit to cast in the world of nerdy entertainment. And once we've done that, we bring weekly deep dives into some of your favorite pop culture topics and fandoms. But why waste my time telling you about it when I can get my Just Enough Trope co-host Mikanhana to do it for me? And she'll be joining me this week to read out some Star Trek news. So sit tight and let's get underway. This is a Trek News segment brought to you by Just Enough Trope. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikanhana.
What is Just Enough Trope?
Just Enough Trope is a space where we talk about all the news that is fit to cast in nerdy entertainment.
Space, nice.
Yeah. And we do some deep dives on TV shows, movies, comic books. We just did a look at Paul Verhoeven's Over,
which
yeah.
is fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun
and bloody.
Very bloody.
It was very bloody
and gross a little bit too.
It's satirical.
Starship Troopers, yeah.
Starship Troopers.
Well, the bugs are super gross.
Yeah, yeah, they are.
Let's see, what else have we talked about recently? We did a show about Rashomon and Rashomon homages.
They're everywhere.
They are.
And Trek fans know that, of course, there's a famous one on TNG with that episode with Riker.
Yes.
Which is like, and I'm sure there's been plenty more. It's come to this point where you just you know when they're doing a Rashomon,
right?
You know,
exactly.
It's almost too self-aware. I think we talk about this on the episode, which you can find in our backlog at justenougghtrope.com. But I think we need a moratorium. I think we need another 100 years to go by or so until somebody goes, what if not everybody knows what's going on, but everybody tells like their own story? Huh? What about that?
Right.
Because it's just so, and it was huge. I'm just doing our episode now, but
well, it's kind of hard not to.
That was like what catapulted Kurosawa to fame.
Yes.
Japanese cinema to fame.
Yes.
You know, all the things that you think about, the Kurosawa samurai epics and everything like that, you know, came after that basically and started this love affair with Japanese cinema that's still going on today. So thanks for that. But I'm a little tired of the, well, he said it was like this, and then he said, and then a ghost said it was like this.
Or a goldfish if you're the Dick Van Dyke Show. Yeah. I think that was my favorite when, like, just like reading about examples. Because how ridiculous can you be? I kind of want to watch that episode now.
Picard show coming up.
Ooh.
What does Livingston think? One episode just from his perspective. Although, how long does a fish live?
Yeah.
That fish is dead by now.
Probably.
If he didn't die in the crash of the D, like he has gone on to fishy heaven.
I kind of would like to see a Rashomon episode just for Data's cats. Get all their different perspectives.
Oh, the future cats?
Yes.
From, that timeline is wiped out, but God, I hope that Data, if he still exists, has all those cats.
I hope he does too.
Or at least B4 has just got a ton of cats.
Right.
He's just the cat man, living with a bunch of cats.
Doing snaps.
And a mean old lady.
Yeah.
That was
serving
weird.
tea.
What's going on with that?
I don't know. Maybe that's just a prerequisite. You know, you're a professor there. You get a mean old lady helping you out.
Yeah, there was a backdoor pilot there in the last episode of TNG, I think, for Data and the old lady and the cats.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, lady and the fat man, lady and the not real man,
lady and the
lady
cat
and the
man?
fake man, cat man. You got me there. All right. Well, anyway, we've proven our Star Trek bona fides.
Yes,
I think
in
our persona as the Just Enough Trope podcast. But we try to keep our Trek talk to enterprising individuals, and I think we have plenty of room and latitude to do that on that show. Star Trek's a nerd phenomenon. Duh. And it's bigger than ever. And I wish I could say that I saw it coming. I wish that I was enough of a genius or a prognosticator to just decide to start a Star Trek podcast. Like a year before they announced that Discovery is in development. And Trek goes from something that we fondly remember, the Lady and the Cat Man, to something that I have to think about 24/7 now, which I enjoy doing, but it can be exhausting.
Yeah.
But I'm not that good. I just got lucky. Or unlucky, depending on how committed I am to laziness. But there's no time for that. Life moves pretty fast.
Yes.
But Alex Kurtzman moves even faster. Mm-hmm. And this is arguably bigger than when, we had DS9. Okay, so it's like the mid-late 90s. We had DS9 is in syndication. Voyager's on UPN. TNG's at the multiplex.
Yeah.
I mean, this is potentially even bigger than that.
With the number of shows they're talking about actually producing and coming out,
and the movie machine is it's kind of sputtering right now, but it's money, man. They're gonna pull that string eventually, and we'll get some movies again. And whatever you think about Discovery or some of the shows that are in development, I mean, you can't argue that the brand of Trek is as strong as it's ever been.
I think that's definitely true.
Before we dive into some news about the expanding universe of Trek, why do you think that is?
I think a lot of it has to do with how successful Star Trek Discovery has been. And also with that success, how well CBS All Access is going. Because I think they were trying something out and it went really well. And I think that they were like, okay, there is a niche for this. There is a want for this. Let's produce as many shows as we possibly can.
Yeah. And you're talking about the business side, though. Like you got a suit on.
Right.
Somebody brings you espresso. Mm-hmm. You spit it out into a napkin. And
I ordered a skim latte. What is this?
And then something else happens. That was a weird movie, Mulholland Falls. Or no, Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland Falls wasn't a weird movie. Let's do all the Mulholland movies next on Just Enough Trope.
All right.
I know two. Is Mulholland like the actual Mulholland in Chinatown? He's a character in Chinatown, right?
I don't remember.
The guy that built the dam and it broke and killed everybody?
Probably.
Or was that earlier than the 40s or 50s or whenever Chinatown is?
I don't actually know.
Well, why not? Yeah. So anyway, but why is it just... I know brand recognition is a big deal.
Right.
The fan base is clearly there.
Yeah.
Half of them are screaming mad about because they don't like Discovery, and the other
Right.
half love it. So is it just the answer is the answer? It's tautological. The answer is that Trek is a juggernaut. It was a fantastic idea that then went on to have fantastic people continue to write and make it fantastic, and so here we are. Mm-hmm. It's evergreen.
Yeah.
I don't want to believe that.
You know?
No, because there's so many things that they try, old, well-known properties that they try to reboot and it doesn't work. And they keep trying and they keep trying, and sometimes it works and sometimes it's just like, that thing exists.
I think they, A, got really lucky with TNG, but B, they also put together, I think, a really good team, like just with the cast and like who were like behind the scene, like writing the stories and
Not at first.
developing the characters. Well, no, it was really rocky at first.
We had Melinda Snodgrass on the show, and she told us, it was not great.
It was not smooth sailing.
Don't ask her about anything after like the middle of the third season of TNG because she doesn't know. She left.
Right.
Rocks.
Well, yeah. Okay, so it wasn't smooth sailing, but they eventually got their sea legs. And space legs.
Thank
okay,
you.
better. And they produced a really great show, so much so that they did more movies. They decided to do more shows. I mean, TNG could have been an absolute failure, and I think if it had, we wouldn't be looking at all the shows that we're expecting now.
Yeah, and it came they did get lucky, like you said, but it also came at a time when, if podcasts existed back then, and there were two idiots going, "Why is Trek still there? Well, they're still looking at it. It's still going." They came back in, and it is what it is. Like, it's just people still loved it, and also that came at a time when they had a syndicated show,
right,
which was generally the realm of Small Wonder or something, or
right.
Out of This World or something like that, Swing on a Star. And it was just the right fit, and they were able to get good deals and get it out there, and then suddenly, let's make a network. Maybe not the best idea. Didn't go great.
Right.
But I almost feel like they were not surprised. I mean, they did it because they knew there was enthusiasm, but I feel like you can look at the proliferation of shows now as just nakedly capitalist and like, let's just squeeze all the green blood out of this rock. But you can also look at it as they're not going to make the same mistake twice, which is, they probably felt like they got lucky with Star Trek The Next Generation,
right,
and went, let's do another show.
Right.
Let's launch a network and make another show to anchor that network. Let's make some bad movies and let people in the door who don't really know or appreciate what they're doing, and then they fall apart, And so it goes away, Enterprise dies an ignominious death, and it's like, well, I guess Trek's over. And I think they've started this up now, and they're like, this thing is still going.
Right.
People still want to see this stuff. Let's not screw it up. Let's get a bunch of people who know what they're doing. They grew up as fans. They went through the dark times with the rest of us and want to stave that off as much as possible. And so let's create a panoply of varied shows that, yes, cynically hit all four quadrants,
right,
but at the same time explore areas of this universe that go beyond just aye, sir.
Right. Well, and I think when you said, too, that this just came at the right time, looking back to when TNG was first on, there just wasn't as much TV out there.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah.
And I know people who watched TNG who would not consider themselves to be sci-fi fans, but they loved that show. Yeah.
That's what was on.
And they really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I think that says something about Star Trek too. It's just it's relatable. I mean, for as far out there as the stories are, and it is sci-fi, but it's still, it's about human nature, the human dynamic, like human versus nature, that sort of thing. And like the whole conceit of like finding new worlds and new planets and new aliens and interacting with them. I mean, that's just endlessly fascinating.
And having sex with them.
Yeah, that too.
It's optimistic.
Yeah.
Although The Walking Dead is gone 9 seasons, still going.
That's very true.
Man is the monster.
Right.
9 seasons, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
anyway. Well, let's talk about some of these new Star Trek shows that are in the works. There are 6 or 7 new Trek shows in the works, depending on how you want to count them. We've got the short Treks, of course.
Right.
They just completed a 4-episode run in All Access, and it served as a lead-in of sorts to the second season of Discovery.
Yeah.
At the Television Critics Association winter press tour, in an interview with Star Trek czar Alex Kurtzman, a.k.a. the Kurtz, he said that he hopes to continue the Star Trek, the short Treks, and that they may serve as a lead-in to other upcoming shows.
Oh, okay.
He said, quote, maybe we'll do one. I don't know how he sounds. I kind of want to do a thing like I usually do.
Like do a voice.
I don't know if it's how he sounds. Maybe we'll do one before Picard. Maybe we'll do one before Section 31. Maybe we'll do one before the animated, just so that we can start getting audiences talking and thinking about what we're doing and setting up mysteries that play out over the course of the season.
Okay.
So this is an expansive idea. It
Yes.
also seems kind of pitchy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seems like not a lot's written down right now.
No. I think
But I think, well, sorry, I think
Go
that
ahead.
this is a producer, a super producer,
Yeah.
who has clearly been given a mostly blank check. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, he'd be like, we got some great things in store. Can't talk about them right now, but you're going to be
Right.
blown away. But he's like, maybe we'll do this. He's on the spot. He's
He's
just
just-
kind of, he's a writer's room of one coming up with stuff.
Right.
And I
Just
think that
throwing
he's,
things out there.
Yeah, I think that psychology comes from having clear latitude to do this sort of thing. And of course, this all ties into what we've talked about on the supplemental shows previously with the proposed merger between Viacom and CBS, and just what's going on with that, and CBS trying to look as strong as possible, get a lot of return on their investments and stuff like that.
Well, and I think that the short treks at least started as being, something to kind of tide the fans over.
See, that's interesting.
Uh-huh.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Well, were you done?
Well, I mean,
You are now.
because of the long wait between Discovery Season 1 and Discovery Season 2.
That's been a criticism of them,
Yes.
that they're a stopgap to get people to keep their all-access subscriptions active.
I don't think that that's incorrect.
They may have had that intent,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that once you've got a Trek series on all the time, like they plan to do to stagger
Right.
the Picard show, the Georgia show, whatever, you wouldn't need short Treks
That's true.
then, right?
Yes.
But here he is talking about them.
Continuing.
And then this might also be the words of a man who has no intention to follow up on any of these promises. Yeah, we'll go to Disneyland. Sure. Oh, yeah. Mickey Pops. We'll get them. Yeah. Get your picture taken with Gookie. Gookie? Gookie? Who's Gookie? Goofy.
I don't know.
Probably Goofy. And so you wouldn't need them, but I think that the idea is that they want to use them as like trailers, almost for
Oh, sure.
other shows and storylines. I mean, if once there's a bunch of shows on and there's no more short treks, then yeah, okay, maybe they weren't too serious about them. But also maybe they don't have the time and money for them anymore.
True.
The fact that there's so many other shows in production.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they've done these 4 and we know that there will be 2 more.
Okay.
That just intrigues me, and I was intrigued by the quick, interesting stories that they told. Did you have a
Yeah.
favorite one?
The Saru one was my favorite by far. I really enjoyed getting some more background information on Saru and getting to see his home world and his family, and just getting a better understanding of him as a character. And I think it was also cool that they were able to show that moment where he decided he was going to leave his planet for forever,
Yes.
and join Starfleet.
He truly was
Yeah.
the brightest star. That's probably mine too. I'm coming around on the Calypso one.
Are you really?
Go back and listen to our Discoverage episode. I famously did not enjoy the Saru one, or the Calypso
Calypso
one.
one,
But
yeah.
the more I think about it, the more it's like, yeah, I mean, that's the kind of story you can tell when you take us off a Starfleet vessel. I know they're on a Starfleet vessel, but it's not that same military fiction, which I've enjoyed for many, many years of my
Right.
life. But what other stories are out there? Mm-hmm. It's a pretty big galaxy.
Yeah, it is.
I was thinking about this too. It's every story that takes place in Star Trek, and there are thousands of stories,
Yes.
are all in the same galaxy. We're
That's
all
true.
in this together. And when some Kelvin assholes come from Andromeda and they want to mess with us, suddenly we're all in this together.
Right.
It's our neighborhood.
Right.
It's home. This is it.
Yeah.
Down the block, back up the other way, coming back from the Gamma Quadrant. What's going on?
Yeah.
Good to cool if you had a wormhole in your house and you just go right to your friend's house.
That would
Hey,
be
can
fun.
I go play? Sure, honey. Hey, what's up? Fire up the Nintendo. Let's do this thing.
I think that reminds me of, I think I told you about this before, but Draimon, it's an anime in Japan, and he has a Doko Demo Doa.
Doko Demo Doa.
So he pulls out of his pocket this door, and like he can think where he wants to go, and he just opens the door, and he's there.
That's
So,
neat.
Isn't that neat?
Does he bring a load of kindergartners with him to educate them on stuff?
You know, it's been a while since I've seen it.
I didn't want to go
think
TARDIS. I went Magic School Bus instead.
There is a young boy who he's friends with, and he's kind of like an alien cat. So
I don't even want to know what this is. You got your JET in my Star Trek.
Yeah,
there.
I'm sorry.
Well, anyway, like I said, they've already announced plans for 2 more short treks. These will be animated episodes.
oh, the short treks will be animated.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
One will be directed by Michael Giacchino. I think that's correct.
Okay. Pronunciation.
Yeah, Chris Carter, who knows him, told me how to pronounce his name, and I've forgotten already. But he is he's a composer. He's composed the Incredible musics.
Oh, great.
And
I love the
for
Incredible
Lost,
music.
and yeah,
Okay.
he's done a lot of stuff. And also all the JJ films.
Okay.
And then one by Star Trek Discovery executive producer Olatunde Osun. I do this every time I practice, and I still mess it up. It's not that tough. Olatunde Osunsamni.
Okay.
Osunsanmi. I got it.
You know, there are just some names that are not
Better than
easy
ours.
to say.
Better than
yes.
regular names.
Yes.
So I'll get there someday. They're both going to feature a CGI animation style that will apparently be different, distinctly, from the upcoming animated comedy series,
Oh, okay.
Star Trek Lower Decks.
Okay. All right.
Now, you could
Interesting.
say, well, are they that serious if they're just going to be cartoons and they're not going to be actual sets and stuff? And I go, well, the show's had some budget problems that
Right.
maybe we'll talk about later, but maybe not.
Okay.
But I'm still on board. That brings us to Lower Decks. Lower Decks will be a half-hour animated comedy produced by Mike McMahon of Rick and Morty. It's been described as a family-friendly series, but you'd have to imagine with McMahon's pedigree, it will skew to slightly older audiences.
Yes, I imagine that the comedy, although being family friendly, will probably be a little more to like. Maybe there'll be some jokes that like just go over kids' heads, but like the adults will get, you know,
Yes.
stuff like that.
Which, again, is something that we don't really have in Star Trek.
No, I mean they do it on The Simpsons all the time. So,
Yeah.
you don't think so?
I wouldn't know.
Well, I
I don't know the
haven't.
last time I watched The Simpsons.
It's been years since I've watched it.
And Rick and Morty doesn't try to send anything over anybody's head.
No.
What is the Szechuan sauce of the Star Trek universe? That's what I need to know.
I don't know. It'd be something that you could get out of
Yamak sauce.
Yamak sauce?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I want my Yamak sauce. Morty. These sand peas are too dry. The original pitch for the show describes it as following less important crew members on an, quote, unimportant vessel in Starfleet.
Yeah.
And provided an example of following the characters who put the yellow cartridges in the replicators so bananas can be made.
Right. No, and bananas are important.
Wait, don't Doctor Who us on.
I know. I think this sounds really intriguing because most of the time in Star Trek we are following the people who make the decisions or who are influencers at the very least. You know,
Hashtag blessed.
that's probably where I pulled it from.
In Stargram. We got to cut this out because I just invented something. We're going to the moon, literally.
Literally. Watch out, Elon Musk.
Yeah, that one episode of TNG has really stuck in people's craw. I mean, it's been 25 years since that. Where we're going to follow these other characters, and they're going to get into Rosencrantz and Guildenstern type adventures.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I can't believe it's taken this long to do something like that.
Well, even like, you know, somebody like a Chief O'Brien, like,
Everybody's super important.
Yeah.
And Chief O'Brien was so remarkable. Not like he's remarkable, but I mean, you remark on him like, hey, it's that guy again. Like,
Right.
And plus, just Colin Meaney, just as an actor,
Right.
we got to elevate this guy,
Right.
give him his own show.
Right.
And so I just wonder, part of the whole thing with, especially on Discovery, like, I like Tilly as a character, but you have to admit, a lot of stuff. She's the Wesley. Like a lot of stuff. Why is all this stuff happening to
Right.
an ensign? Like so much stuff is happening
That's
to her.
very true.
And
Yeah.
so much of Star Trek shows are about being exemplary amongst a crew of exemplars. Like we are to
Yes.
assume that everybody has to make the cut. They got to pass that test where you got to pull the guy out of the pipe and the stuff is spraying on you, and you got to do that. They've all done that. So
Right.
these are all great. So what if we see what does it mean in the Star Trek universe to not be the guy who is making first contact, or is
Right.
going on trial for possibly killing a guy you're having sex with his wife and stuff like, and the guy who's making F dolls of his crew members in the holodeck, that sort of thing.
Right. Who's the janitor of the starship?
Right. Who's that guy that vacuums the bridge?
Right.
Tell me more.
Make sure that there's trash liners in all the trash
Get
cans.
some. What do they have for trash cans? Do they have a Mr. Fusion where you
I
just
don't
throw the
know.
trash in there?
Like maybe they have something where
I bet there's hardly any trash.
Yeah. I was just thinking of maybe like a special trash can where they like take your trash and they change it into fuel or
Go
something
with
like
me.
that.
Go with me. Yeah, like Mr. Fusion.
Yeah.
Go with me to a weird place.
Okay.
But it's the kind of place we go on Just Enough Trope. There's no food wrappers, right?
True.
There's really no flatware or dishware because this is something nobody ever talks about. You can order a glass of water. You can order a chocolate sundae. What kind of glass does it come in? I bet that's programmable to your specifications.
Yeah,
Once you're
probably.
done, you don't have to wash it off. You just stick it
No.
back in the replicator.
And it disappears.
Pull your hand back in time, I guess. So what kind of things are disposable in the Trek universe? Like, let's say, like a hairbrush.
Right.
Pulaski's got a hairbrush.
Right.
Once you've got a hairbrush,
Right. Mm-hmm.
goes bad after a while, the tines start to come out.
Yes.
Can you just stick it in the replicator and it
And
makes
make a
you
new
another
one?
hairbrush?
I don't see why not.
What about Kleenexes? What about
Ooh.
sanitary products? You want to get rid of those when
Yeah.
you're done with them.
Yeah.
So is there a toilet, like a bathroom we never see the toilets, but is there
No.
a bathroom de-replicator where you go, this shaving blade is totally dull now. Boop, tsh, goes away.
Yeah.
beams a new one in
I was just thinking
for
about
$25.99.
yeah, like, what about like shampoo? I mean, I guess they would just give you a new shampoo bottle that's full of shampoo or something like that. Or
Sonic
like,
shower.
yeah.
I wonder if they even use shampoo.
Yeah. Maybe they use dry shampoo or something
What?
like that.
They're space hippies, right?
Yeah.
It's dry shampoo.
Yeah.
It's deodorant stone.
Yes.
The whole way.
Yes.
It's just a patchouli thunk on every deck of that
Absolutely.
vessel. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, these shows, or this show, the Lower Deck show, should not be confused with the kid-friendly animated Trek series that was just recently announced to be in the works. It's being developed by the Kurtz and Kevin and Dan Hageman, writers of Hotel Transylvania, the Lego Movie, the Lego Ninjago Movie, and the TV show Troll Hunters. And the show will air on Nickelodeon.
Wow. Okay. So they're not going CBS All Access on this one.
Here's my conspiracy theory that's not really even a conspiracy.
Okay.
Viacom and CBS sitting in a tree. KISSIN.
KISSING.
Give me a series
Oh.
to marry us as a thing before the merger
Oh,
happens.
I see. Okay.
It's a friendly
All right.
pitch room at a Viacom network, I'd assume.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think this is going to appeal to, as they say, kids of all ages. So,
You're fired.
I don't even work here.
Not supposed to be here today.
I know.
That's the line. Details are scarce on this. I hope that the animation is better than the Funimation original animated
Yes.
series, which I
I
do love. We've talked about on this show. It's totally Trek, but not great animation.
I have to be honest, I haven't seen a single episode.
Now you are fired.
And I am very embarrassed by that. I think I need to remedy that as soon as possible.
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
For now.
Well, I guess I will add that to my list.
Okay, you go do that. I'll finish the show. Well, anyway, forget all that crap. Here comes Picard.
Yes.
Jean-Luc Picard series currently in development for broadcast on CBS All Access. And of course, will star Patrick Stewart as Jean-Luc Picard. It will reportedly be, according to Picard himself, John Stewart. Hey, what's up? I'm John Stewart. This is
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart, cousins. It's set 20 to 25 years after TNG. Patrick Stewart also said that the first season and the core storylines have all been decided. Production begins in mid-April of this year, and I believe they said that it was expected to premiere in the fall. We'll see how that goes, but soon.
Do we know what the episode run is for the first season?
I think they said, this is well-researched facts, the news. I believe it's 10 episodes.
Okay.
And they want it to go 2 or 3.
2 or 3 seasons.
So it'd kind of be like a mini-series, but they're calling it a series.
I feel like 10 is definitely a series now, especially with Netflix and Prime.
Yeah.
The way that Amazon Prime, the way they are.
New TV.
Yeah. A lot of series have like 10 episodes. So I think that's, I think that's decent. I was thinking at first that it was really going to be like a miniseries and be like 6 episodes. So I'm glad to hear that it's not, that it's going to be more like 10.
Does TV even work still? It's vision.
TV.
You're seeing it.
Yeah.
It's telly. It's far away.
Right.
So I guess that applies to streaming stuff.
Yeah.
You're not sending TV and radio waves that you're picking up far away. It's just coming on a fiber optic wire.
Yeah. I mean,
But they could
true.
have, like, if they wanted to rebrand, they could call streaming shows Streamies, and I'm so glad they haven't done that.
That sounds
We got to cut this part out so
terrible.
nobody hears this.
Yeah.
Star of Star Trek Discovery, Sonequa Martin Green, may have inadvertently leaked the title of the series in an interview with Larry King, of all people, which, number one, why is he alive still? I guess it was on his podcast or something, or his YouTube show. He doesn't do live anymore, right?
I have no idea.
Anyhow, Larry King accosted Sonequa Martin Green in the street, I guess, and she said the series would be titled simply Picard.
Oh.
And so people are running with that. We don't know if it's an offhand comment or the real deal, but there you go.
I recently saw, I'm sure it was like a TV spot for Discovery or something like that, but I saw Sonequa Martin Green talking about when she first met Nichelle Nichols.
Oh, yeah.
And they had some footage of it, too. It was like at an event.
Yeah.
Like she met her on the red carpet. And she was talking about what an honor it was and how she was like, now it's yours now and all that stuff. So
Great.
yeah.
She's like, all right, well, I get to do more than put a thing in my ear, but
Yeah.
but
I know.
thanks for your blessing and your inspiration.
Well, and she did say she wouldn't be there without Nichelle. So.
Well, yeah, many of us wouldn't be here without that.
Yeah.
Michael Chabon,
Yes.
Jenny Lou Met, I believe, and Kirsten Beyer are also on board for the series. Apparently, the series was the brainchild of Kirsten Beyer.
Well, I think it will be good then.
Yeah,
That's
if
kinda
she's
what I'm thinking.
What do you think it'll be about? Let me just set you up here, right?
Okay.
So here's what happened in between the end of TNG
Yes.
and the end of Nemesis, right?
Yes.
We've had the destruction of Romulus,
Yes.
the planet Romulus. The Ambassador Spock has disappeared, and nobody knows where he is.
Right.
Voyager has returned, and I'm trying to remember.
They actually did return.
Spoiler for a show that what do you think's going to happen
I
at the end
know.
of Voyager?
All right.
The galaxy's recovering from a galaxy-wide war, devastating war. Cisco is chilling with the fire gang, chilling
Yeah.
down with the fire gang.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, Kirsten.
Yeah.
Now what?
There are a lot of balls in the air that could be at play here.
Spaceballs.
Yeah. Space. Nice.
We're a team.
Yeah.
What do you think about Whoopi Goldberg saying that she is ready to go to come back?
I would love to see Whoopi
Wouldn't
again.
that be great?
It would be fantastic. I honestly would be super psyched to see just about anybody from TNG reprising their roles.
Which has to happen, right?
I would think so.
Yeah.
At least even if they were like in one episode.
They're all
like
there.
that would be fantastic.
We've got them all.
Yeah.
This isn't a thing where it's like, oh, so and so had to go. Like,
Right.
They all are here.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Exactly.
Or what if they all hate each other?
Ooh, that
I don't mean
would
the
be
actors,
bad.
because we know they don't hate each other. But
Right. Oh, like a Riker and Worf thing.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
You're all about all good things. You're all good things about things.
I rewatched it recently, so it's fresh in my mind.
Well, I want to see. Okay, so people feel different ways about the Kelvin timeline. I want to see them own it though, and see the aftermath of the destruction of Romulus.
Sure.
Which I think has to be a thing.
Yes.
Especially when you introduce Remans in Nemesis. Like
Mm-hmm.
nobody likes Nemesis, but let's take it all at face value. Let's take
Right.
it seriously. Let's get Dina Meyer back as the cute Romulan who's, helping them out in Nemesis, make her a character, involve that. And also just give depth to this catastrophe that is going on, in the background in another universe of
Right.
the JJ films.
Right.
Like that's what leads to this.
Right.
Man, I like Eric Bana. I don't know if I'd want to see Nero in the first couple episodes, but
Yeah.
I do like Eric Bana.
Yeah.
Where is he?
I have no idea. That's a really great question.
Well, maybe he's not a marquee actor, but a marquee actor is going to get her own spin-off in a Star Trek series. In January of this year, it was announced that Michelle Yeoh would be starring in a Section 31 series
Yes.
centering around her character, Philippa Georgiou Iapenas, whatever, I can't remember the whole thing.
I know, right?
Of the Mirror Universe. It's been described as a spy show, like a Jack Bauer type thing in space.
Okay.
That's spy.
Yeah.
Counterintelligence, counterterrorism type thing. Some fans expressed concern that a Section 31 series, considering that they are a murderous, secretive ghost protocol organization,
Right.
might stray from Trek's optimism. But Boyan Kim and Erica Lipple, who are writers and producers for Discovery and are also executive producing the new show, say, quote, "That is not what we're aiming to do. We will never lose sight of what Star Trek represents." End quote.
Well, this is something that you spoke about recently on.
I spoke about all the time.
You spoke about on Discoverage. The
Discoverage?
Yes.
You mean our live recap and review show for Star Trek Discovery?
Yes,
It's on every
exactly.
Thursday night at 9 p.m. Central?
Yes.
Huh, okay.
You talked about how it'd be interesting to see how Section 31 goes from this known entity as it is in Discovery to being this, like you said, ghost protocol thing in like Deep Space Nine, where like nobody has heard of it. They don't know anything about it. The people who are in it are really shady. They like kidnap you. They sit in your room while you're sleeping.
It's that thing, you see this in like spy novels or movies sometimes, where it's like some senator or like somebody has earmarked like funds, government funds for like a llama farm or something like that somewhere, but the money's actually going to, this is our this funds our ghost protocol association, and we go off and do stuff.
Right.
And apparently, and I theorize that, something horrible must happen that's Section 31's fault that makes them go fully underground. But nobody ever turned that tap off. Mm-hmm. It's also possible that, I'm sitting here talking about money and resources. You don't even need money and resources in Star Trek. Like, if you have the right equipment, you have unlimited energy. So perhaps they are truly a cult. Like, they are truly fanatical. There was this part of the Federation Charter, Section 31, that says, and also, we're really great. And also, we've got some people that do bad stuff.
Right.
Because we got to.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was like, no, we don't follow that anymore. Like, we don't respect that. It's in the thing, but we just ignore it. We have an amendment, like to the Constitution.
Right.
But they're off radicalizing people, and because Sloane's grandfather was in it, and then raised his son to be like, you got to defend the Federation and pull somebody's eyes out to do it.
Right.
And then he passed it on to Sloane, and so you've got like this group of people who really aren't connected at all. They're almost like they're like a terror cell, basically. That's like, you got a Federation the right way.
Right.
Explosion. I mean, I have my doubts, but when you think about it, violence, questionable moral decisions. You can kind of see it as franchising the last 2 seasons of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, I can
Taking that,
Yeah.
putting it in its own thing. If you like those, because a lot of people, I like the fact that DS9 built to that, but I don't want to see people like, I love In the Pale Moonlight. I like In the Pale Moonlight in the context of the character of Sisko. I wouldn't want to see horrible assassinations and things like that all the time. But if you like dark war storylines and tough choices,
Right.
this can be your show. We just section it off.
Right.
And that way you don't have to go through 5 seasons of people farting around a space station to get to tough talk on DS9.
Right.
To get to, Maquis and Jem'Hadar and stuff
Right.
like that.
Right.
You
Exactly.
just get it, bam, right there.
Right.
An injection.
Yes.
You agree?
Well, I want to see more stories about them, like going into Section
Sloane's
31's
brain?
people's heads. Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
So weird.
I know. I mean, before we had Section 31, we had Garrick, who was a spy.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, this show, and we could look down on the Cardassians for having a Gestapo,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
But then we find out, we've got a Gestapo too.
Right.
Whoops.
Exactly.
And so hopefully the
Who are we to
series will
judge?
dig into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 more shows for us to talk about, at least as of 6:37 p.m. today. Who knows? There could be 17 more shows when we check again. First up, we've got the Starfleet Academy show. It
Okay.
was announced in June of 2018. It's being developed by Josh Schwartz and Stephanie Savage of Gossip Girl fame. And there hasn't been much info yet on this, if it's even still on, but it would reportedly follow a group of cadets through their training at Starfleet Academy in San Francisco, like the first half of Starship Troopers.
Sure.
That means co-ed showers, right? Sexy.
I don't know.
Say, hey, it's the future. We don't
Yeah.
have these hang-ups anymore.
Right. Right.
Sexy cadets getting their fellow cadets killed in sexy training accidents.
Yeah. I mean, you're really talking about Starship
Bite
Troopers
down on
there.
this, son.
Yeah.
What's going on? And what's the subtext?
I don't know.
You're gonna get whipped.
I guess he's been through it before, so he knows what it's like.
Right. Cadet, do you have the training to repair a Type 2 phaser?
Right.
Then why did you tell your subordinate to give you his? Something like that.
Yeah. I guess I'm kind of reminded of the episode where, like, Wesley was the...
Yeah, right. The first order.
Yeah.
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 The
Exactly.
first duty, yeah. The
Yeah.
first duty of every Starfleet officer is to shower co-ed, nude. You don't deserve to take off that uniform. They're always trying to make the Academy happen.
Yeah. I feel like...
Do you think it's a good idea?
I don't know. I feel like they're trying too hard a little bit. I gotta say, out of all the ones we talked about so far, is kind of the one I'm like least excited for. I don't know. I guess it could be kind of cool if like the people from Gossip Girl are doing it. Like maybe it'll be like you said, like sexy young cadets, getting into trouble and that sort of thing. So I don't know. I guess it could be fun. Be a different way of looking at Star Trek. I feel like it would be like a lot of simulations, a lot of Kobayashi Marus and stuff like that.
That's the season finale.
Yeah. Yeah.
You build up to that.
Yeah.
Get the apples ready.
Right. Exactly.
Gotta eat these apples.
I know.
Like real jerks. That's how you know where we cheated on the test.
I know.
So we'll see. Lastly, there's the SETI Alpha 5 series. This is the SETI Alpha 5 series.
Oh my goodness.
That
Yes.
Wrath of Khan director Nicholas Meyer has apparently been working on for a while. It's been described as a 3-part miniseries. We'll follow like a long movie.
Right.
Follow the crew of the SS Botany Bay from the aftermath of Space Seed
Okay.
to just before Star Trek II.
I am actually fairly optimistic about this because
Which is how long? 15 years?
something like that.
It's a man up there. I haven't seen it in 15 years. Trying to kill
Yeah.
me.
Right.
Show me, son. I'd be happy to help.
Yes. Because I really enjoy Nicholas Meyer's work, and I feel like if this is his baby, I feel like it has a lot of potential to be something really great.
Yeah.
Obviously, Wrath of Khan is amazing and probably one of the
I gotta
best.
check that out. People keep saying that.
One of the best, if not the best, Star Trek film. I'd love to see more about that storyline for sure.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, who knows? I read a interview with Meyer where he basically just shrugs and is like, I don't know. Like, it's all written. I felt like he had been closed-mouthed about it.
Yeah.
And in this interview, he was basically just like, yeah, it's this and this and this, which kind of makes me think like the deal's dead. Maybe it's not going to happen. But, the second that Picard puts up big numbers and the tracking looks good on Giorgio,
yeah,
they'll
pull the
greenlight
trigger
this,
on
right?
this.
Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you do this?
Yeah, I know.
This is one of those prequels that is worth doing because it isn't just everybody farts around for a while and then the Reliant shows up. Like it's
right.
You'll see Khan go from this guy who's like, well, maybe we can get this done, and then he's going to suffer these tragedies. We can actually see like more detail about his followers. Why they follow him. It could have a really weird, culty kind of Koreshi kind of vibe. There's a lot of places that you could go other than, well, Anakin Skywalker was nice, but then he was bad and he killed kids.
Right.
I don't know. And then you've got a huge set piece in the third episode where City Alpha 6 blows up.
Right.
They have to figure out what they're going to do.
Right.
Or maybe that happens in the middle of the second episode, I guess.
Sure.
That's the real crisis.
Yes, absolutely.
So what do you think? I mean, you've been telling me what you think. Pick a favorite and a least favorite. And I think you said Sexy Cadets was your least favorite.
Sexy Cadets is my least favorite.
Yeah.
I think my favorite is going to have to be the Picard show because I love me some Picard. I'd love to see Jean-Luc back in the saddle.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm going to go off script and say that I think I'm looking forward to Lower Decks.
Okay.
I want to finally see somebody with a strong voice and a mandate to not deliver a Star Trek show.
Sure.
For all of Kim and Lippold's efforts, it sounds like Section 31 it will just be like the darkest episodes of Star Trek we've gotten.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I think that could be a really great show. But it's like, okay, Rick and Morty guy, give us Rick and Morty Star Trek.
Right. Right.
And Rick and Morty's it's gone off the rails a couple times. But maybe with Star Trek as a centering force, we'll get something really fun and irreverent. And my least favorite, even though I just pumped it up, is the Khan one.
Oh, really?
There's a lightning in the bottle aspect to Khan, which they've tempted twice because Space Seed, great app, Wrath of Khan, great movie.
Right.
So third time's a disaster into darkness.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't want to go back there again.
Right.
But go for it.
Yes.
Let's talk really fast about the state of Trek movies.
Okay.
It is bad.
It is not good.
Both,
all systems not go.
Yeah. Thor and the guy from Hell or High Water, which is a pretty good movie.
It is.
Have walked away from the table, so we've lost both Kirks.
Yes.
Things are not looking good, and people go, okay, but you've got a franchise to keep alive. Why is nothing going forward on this? What do we do? Simon Pegg is tearing what's left of his hair out to get this done. Here's your answer. It was announced recently that J.J. Abrams and his company Bad Robot are in the market. They're swiping left and right on the Tindler, Trackener, Voyager. It's for fur hunters to find each other. Trap left.
Oh my
He's telling me
gosh!
to stop anytime. They're looking for a production deal. Their deal with Paramount is expiring.
Oh.
That's why. So this might be posturing because they've been, I think, pretty happy at Paramount. They're even producing a new film with them. And so they're remake. Oh, here's some jet news for you. Remember Your Name, that really popular anime that came out a couple years ago?
Yeah.
It was a smash over here. They're going to make a live action version of that at Paramount and Bad Robot.
Okay.
Directed by Mark Webb from Amazing Spider-Man 1s and 2s. Yeah.
That's the sound of me not being happy.
Yeah. Well, anyway. So they're looking for... So they're not actively like producing with Paramount right now.
Okay.
So there's nobody, ring ring, there's nobody in the office to figure this out.
I see.
So we lost Clarkson as the director. She had to move on, which sucks. Like I said, Peg is probably just going crazy.
And Zachary Quinto.
He's on Kimmy Schmidt. He's
Yeah.
looking for other stuff.
Right.
Like, we're losing the group at this point.
Right.
So it becomes more likely to do a reboot, I guess.
Yeah.
At this point, it seems, I don't know. It seems unlikely that we'll be able to get everybody back, the band back together.
Yes.
What do you think
Which
about that?
I think it's it's kind of too bad. Like, we got 3 films out of them.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yes.
When was the last film come out? It's been a couple of years.
2015?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
So it's already been a while. So yeah, I think Magic 8-Ball outcome does not look good.
Now, Secret Hideout, that is the Kurtz's Bad Robot. They, on the other hand, have been very busy at work, of course, producing almost all the shows that we've already talked about.
Right.
Kurtz is signing this deal with Nickelodeon for this animated show. So it seems like he's looking to be, either the glue that makes the CBS Viacom thing happen,
Right.
or the guy who's early to the gold rush
Sure.
to capitalize on it. And who knows? I feel like he's doing great on TV. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like you also did real bad in movies.
Right.
So now you're doing TV.
Right.
So this might be his way back into films. We get a successful Picard show, a successful Giorgio show, and a year or two under his belt, and he might be ready to pitch and run the
Some
next Star
movies.
Trek movie, whether
Yeah.
it's a reboot or what.
Yeah, I can see that.
The one other thing I'd mention is that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is finally done and dusted and comes out, and assuming it does well, or maybe if it does poorly, Tarantino will be free to finally make a decision about this
Right.
Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Which, as far as I know, would be a standalone sign-on deal. If he does
see.
this, it's down to Paramount, it's down to him. That's their decision-making. None of this merger, Kurtzman, who's involved type thing.
Okay. I would be curious to see like a Tarantino Trek film. I kind of want to know what that would be like. I mean, I feel like it would be like taking Trek and putting it, making it R, and making it very adult, and seeing what phasers actually do instead of somebody just disappearing, that sort of thing.
Yes.
So yeah, I would be interested in seeing that.
Me as well. Like I said before, just more.
Yeah.
We've established firmly over the course of this hour that we've been talking that this is a brand that's not going to go away. Into Darkness couldn't kill it.
Right.
Like you can take risks with it. Did I tell you before that in retrospect, now that the JJ movies are basically dead, I kind of like them a little more.
Oh, really?
Like I've been thinking about watching them.
Really?
When there was no Discovery on TV, I think subconsciously, I mean, I hated them because they're not great,
Right.
but also because that was it. They were Star Trek
Yes.
from now on going forward. And I didn't like that this was Star Trek now. And I know that's like, well, how's that different than a troll? Well, here's how it's different. I'm explaining to you my
Why you
complicated
didn't like
feelings.
it. Yes.
Yeah. And now that they are just a weird kind of oxbow in the Star Trek canon, it's safe to like them. You know what I mean? Like I think I can watch them and be like, okay, yeah, well, everybody's trying something, and
Right.
it's not all working,
Right.
But it's I don't have to like, we're not going to build a new universe off of this stuff that I don't really all that much.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Here's something I love.
Okay.
LeVar Burton is
Yes.
getting a park named after him.
Oh, very cool.
LeVar Burton, you know this man.
I do.
Toby. It's not his name. It's not his name. Reading Rainbow, Star Trek The Next Generation, of course.
Yes.
He's from South Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
Not born, but raised, for sure. He went to USC.
Okay.
And he is getting a park named after him in town. It's currently called Richfield Park, but it will be it's being revamped and upgraded, Parks and Recreation style.
Okay, cool.
And once it's done, it will be called Burton Park.
Oh, that's awesome. That's very cool. That's some really good feel-good news.
Yeah, he's also on the Sacramento Walk of Stars. He was the first actor to be, because Sacramento, big city,
Right.
Not too far from LA. So a lot of actors, people, famous people, artists from Sacramento. So he kind of kicked
cool.
that off. Yeah. So it's neat for him. I just as we leave. So I don't know what they call it in real news, but in Just Enough Trope, we have the squirrel, which is usually the last story. It
Right.
refers to the water skiing squirrel, the
Yes.
human interest piece that wraps up, a typical newscast.
Yes.
He's skiing on skis. Well, that's it for the news team here.
Right.
This is going to serve for that. I just remembered, because I saw a YouTube video or something, that LeVar Burton was the bad guy in the video for Cameo's Word Up.
Okay.
Do you remember?
No. I don't know if
I.
I've seen it.
Okay, so Cameo, right? Word Up.
Uh-huh.
What's your song? Word Up. Well, how does it go? Word Up. But anyway, Larry Blackman, guy in the codpiece, right? Mm-hmm. They do Word Up. It's their big #1 hit. They're dangerous. It's one of these situations, right, where there's like police and the mayor's there. I think Burton's the mayor. And they're like, you can't be this funky. Stop it. Stop it right now.
Right.
But Larry Blackman's not taking that.
Right.
And Cameo's going to tell him, what's the word? It's
Word Up.
Exactly. And so the whole time, so they're moving through the streets and he's doing his goofy flat top thing. And they eventually make it to a club and they're breaking the club down. Everybody's going crazy. And LeVar Burton's like caught in this push of people. And he's like,
not looking happy.
He's not happy about this at all. Cast him as a square. Do you think he's a square? Geordie was a square.
Geordie was a
You think that's leaking into Geordie from LeVar?
Maybe.
Don't tell him I said
Geordie
this.
was like, he was such a goob when it came to women. It was like, what was he like? He was into that one lady who was like she was like a hologram of his or something like that.
Yeah, the Leah Brahms hologram.
Yeah.
Which, okay, wow, this squirrel has got a long tail. That episode is not, it's old in that it's all kind of covered over. She comes in because there's the episode where she comes to the Enterprise. And
Right.
Like, check out these engines. What's this program? What?
Boop.
Yeah, right. And basically, like, she communicates all the proper emotions about feeling horrified and violated. Although, how long has hologram technology existed? Like, this has to be a thing, right?
Yes.
This is like revenge porn. Like,
Yeah.
we're getting to a point where this stuff exists. Anyway, not my point. Going against my point. And basically, like, they kind of make it that he goes, well, I'm sorry. And then she's kind of a jerk for, like, not accepting his apology. But it is horrifying. Then, third time, here's the hat trick. In the future of all good things, they're married.
Oh, man.
What
That's
happened to
weird.
Julie?
Yeah.
They're having Coco No-Nos every night
Right.
in the holodeck. Thanks again to Mikanhana for stopping by to help out with the news. If you like what you heard, we're doing that every week just down the dial on the Just Enough Trope podcast. News, reviews, and our views on your favorite pop culture topics. Coming up on the show, we've got a review of the new film Alita Battle Angel and the manga Battle Angel Alita that it's based on. We're also talking about the new Netflix show Umbrella Academy and the comic book that it's based on. And also coming up, we're talking about the rash of 90s superhero films based on Golden Age comic characters like the Phantom, the Shadow, Dick Tracy. Like, what was going on with all that? Well, we dig into that. We also have interviews on the show with the people who make your favorite genre media, and we're often doing those interviews from the floors of some of the biggest Comic-Cons around the country. It's a big old nerd jamboree, so check it out at justenough.trope.com. Just Enough Trope on iTunes. You can like us on Facebook at Just Enough Trope, and follow us on Twitter at John Jingleheimer Schmidt. No, I'm just kidding. We're at Just Enough Trope on there, too. And that's it for this little experiment. What do you think? Do you get tired of hearing just my voice on supplemental shows? Do you want more news and discussion of news about upcoming Star Trek projects? Like I said earlier, this might be coming back in upcoming weeks. We'll see. Until then, you can let us know what you think on social media. We're at EIST Pod on Facebook and Twitter. Join the conversation and stick around for the coming weeks. We've got a great run of shows coming up this year that I'm really excited to share with you, so stay tuned. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/EIST Pod for more. And until next time, live long and prosper.